Hey guys, welcome back to Maxyy's Kitchen. My name is Maxlyn, and if you're new here, you're very much welcome. So I celebrated my birthday last week, and I want to show you guys how I made my red velvet and cream cheese frosting birthday cake. This cake was so moist and super delicious, and if you want the full recipe, don't go anywhere, stay tuned. Okay, so here's a list of everything you need to make this birthday cake. So on the first page is a list of everything for the cake, and on the second page is everything you need for the frosting. We're going to start with the cake. First, make sure that you've preheated your oven to 130 degrees Celsius. Yes, 130. And then you're going to mix in all your dry ingredients in a bowl, which are plain flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, and then your cocoa powder. These 5 ingredients, and make sure that you pass them through a sieve before mixing them properly. So once you're done with your dry ingredients, you want to set that aside and then work on the wet ingredients. Now to your oil, you're going to add in the sugar and then give that a good mix. Now let me give you one baking tip that you have to know. When you're baking, you want to make sure that all your ingredients are at room temperature, unless it's actually been specified that something needs to be extremely cold. Okay, you want to always make sure that everything you're using is at room temperature. Your eggs, in this case, buttermilk, everything has to be at room temperature. So after mixing the sugar with the oil, you're going to add in your eggs and then mix that up, okay? And then you would see the consistency that you want to try and achieve. I'll show you in a bit. This is what you want to get before you proceed. After the eggs, you want to add in your room temperature buttermilk. Now, if you don't have buttermilk, please use Greek yogurt. That's a good substitute, but you also want to make sure that that's at room temperature. You want to give that a very good mix. Now, I want to also tell you another baking tip. I always use oil for my cakes, okay, because it keeps the cake very moist. That's one tip. Now that's just vinegar I'm putting in, but back to the oil thing, I use oil instead of butter because when butter is melted and then it goes into the fridge, it hardens up, and that's exactly what happens to your cake when you use butter to make your cake. Okay, I would only use butter for vanilla just because it's a very plain cake and you want that nice butter flavor to come through. But for all my other cakes, I use oil because it keeps the cake very moist. Okay, so after I added in the vinegar, I added in my vanilla essence, and then I added in red food color. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Now I use a combination of about 4 to 5 red food colors because one color doesn't give me the look that I want, okay? But if you have one particular red food coloring that gives you that color that you like, please go ahead to use just that one. So now that you have your wet ingredients, you want to get your bowl of dry ingredients and just slowly pour all of the wet ingredients into the large mixing bowl. Okay, that has your dry ingredients, and then you're going to mix that carefully. You don't want to over whisk it, you don't want to over mix it, so you're just going to mix that slowly but making sure that everything is well incorporated. So this is another reminder, your oven should have been preheating at 130 degrees Celsius by now. Okay, you should have already done that long time ago. And we're going to divide the cake batter into 3 7-inch tins. Okay, I'm using PME tins. This is what they look like. I lined them with parchment paper. Actually, I'm going to show you that. So what you want to do is outline your cake tins on parchment paper and then cut out the outlines. Okay, this is going to be the base in the cake tin. So I actually have only 2 tins, so I baked 2 cakes and then I baked the last one after the first one was done, or the first 2 were done, because I baked them at the same time. So you want to put the parchment paper inside the cake tin with the help of oil as like the glue. Once you're done, you want to share the cake batter into the cake tins, and like I said, I didn't have a third tin, so I put the third cake batter in a glass bowl and then transferred it into the tin when I was ready to bake that one. So you just want to clean up the cake tins and then pop them in the preheated oven at 130 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Okay, the oven has to be preheated. So you want to bake for 30 minutes. Do the toothpick test after. If it needs a little bit more time, just give it about 3 minutes and it should be fine. Once they are all baked, you want to wrap them up immediately with food safe cling film and then pop them in the freezer for about an hour. Okay, make sure you do that, it's very important. So to the frosting, you want to whip your softened butter and your icing sugar together until you get something very creamy like this, and then you're going to add in your softened cream cheese and whip that up. You're also going to add some lemon juice and some vanilla essence. Okay, everything is in the ingredient list. Now this frosting that I made is half of what I've actually provided in the ingredient list. So the ingredient list, if you follow the measurements, it will give you double of this, and that's exactly what you need to actually frost the cake, because I had to make more frosting. So these are the cakes. I just took them out of the fridge. They had actually been in my freezer for about 2 hours. I took them out and look at how nice they look. So what you want to do is get your cake board, put a little bit of frosting to act as glue, put your first layer of cake and then put more frosting on top of the first layer, then put the next one, put some frosting, and then put the last layer. I didn't really record a lot of these bits, okay, where I was putting the cake together. The most important thing in this video is the cake recipe, and I really hope that you guys try the cake recipe and the frosting recipe. It was absolutely delicious. Thank you so much, Amanda, for the cream cheese, guys. One of you guys actually sent me cream cheese when I was back in Ghana. Amanda, if you're watching, thank you so much. I really loved using the Philadelphia block cheese for this recipe. Okay, it tasted so good. So guys, I made the cake. This is the outcome and everyone loved it. I'm so sorry I couldn't share the entire frosting bit with you, but I'm still working on how to frost my cake. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.